The Alpha Sessions.
Hi everyone, we're on Alpha Sessions. I'm Gigi Harland and today I am in the studio with the amazing Pien.
Woo.
Welcome, nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's good to be back.
You're most welcome. I can't wait to have a chat because you've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up.
I do.
How did the end of last year treat you?
Oh, well, that's a good one to start with. Different than I planned, and that's actually funny because it kind of links also to my EP, but we'll talk about that later.
Gracefully segueing.
I know, I've done it before.
She's a pro.
I had some media training, now I didn't. Maybe one day, I don't know. It was a little bit different. So I'm originally from the Netherlands, and I moved to London 2 years ago, which means that's after Brexit. That's the beautiful word that I'm referring to. And that basically means that now everyone in the EU as well needs to have a visa to live in the UK. And I was on, long story short, I was on a visa, applied for a different one. The UK Home Office played some interesting tricks on me, which made me lose the visa that I was on, and then also denied my application, which meant I had to leave the country ASAP.
Oh my gosh.
So I literally had a crazy week because besides being a musician, I'm also a stylist, and I applied for a new job at a very big company, and I heard literally on the Wednesday, you got the job. Well, I had the interview on Monday. Super nervous, went really well.
Yeah.
Wednesday I heard I got the job, and then on Thursday I received an email with, we denied your application because of this and this and that, which was all based on lies because they basically accused me of submitting the wrong stuff.
Okay.
Which wasn't true.
Okay.
I did submit all the correct stuff, but then they found a way to still deny it. And then I received an email on Friday which told me you have to leave the country now.
As in right this second, or in a couple of weeks?
Well, that was the thing. They didn't give me a timeline. They just told me, because your application got denied, you have to leave the country now. If you need help with leaving, call this number, and that's it.
Wow. Okay.
And I was freaking out because I was like, okay, what is now? Is that in an hour? Is it police?
Yeah, is there like a buffering zone? Like, what's the deal?
Is it 2 weeks? Is it a month? Is it longer? And then we basically started, me and my boyfriend, who's been amazing through this whole process, and his family as well, been calling solicitors, people who can help us. And then of course it was on a Friday, so we had to wait the whole weekend to get an appointment, do more research, and then we had this meeting with a solicitor, and then was like, oh yeah, we can do this. Oh no, we can't do that. Oh, maybe we can go for this visa. Okay, let's get all the papers in order. And then we had another meeting with them, and they were like, no, you can't do that, but you maybe can do that.
Didn't really know if you were coming or going for quite a while. And then
no, so I've been basically living in stress and anxiety for like 2-3 weeks.
Oh, God.
And then literally the day before Christmas, I heard that there was no visa for me to apply for, besides the one that I applied for, which got denied.
God.
So I decided to still spend Christmas in the UK with my boyfriend's family. Then I got on a plane home, stayed there for 3 weeks, registered again at my local council back home. And in the Netherlands, if you want to freelance, you have to start an own company. Yeah. So I was like, you know what, I don't know what's going to happen, but let's at least start a company so I can at least freelance, because loads of jobs nowadays don't really offer contracts anymore, but only freelance contracts.
Yeah.
And then I was just at home, having no job. Had to quit my barista job, which was my only stable form of income. Yeah. Literally, one day I was still working there, and then the other day I wasn't there anymore, and I had to tell my boss that, and I had didn't have no money apparently. But the day before I left, I guess that's a lucky incident, I got a tax return because I paid too much tax, so I got a check.
Yeah, you have a little extra than you expected.
So I had a little bit of a buffer, not that much, but literally enough to live off for maybe 1.5 months.
God.
So I'm still living off of that.
I'm so sorry that happened, just on behalf of everybody,
you.
because that's such an intense situation. You know, like everything that you've worked for, because you kind of started out about 2 years ago, from what I understand, and you've done, you know, when you put so much of your heart and soul into something, you've been writing these songs and you've been gigging in London and, you know, to have all of that kind of thrown up in the air by something that you have absolutely zero control over.
It's crazy.
Must be really intense, but also it may be, did you find that it did anything positive for you? Did it make you reassess anything, or did it make you kind of see things in a different way, or get creative about the, you know, the ways that you could come back? Like, was there anything that came out of it that you found positive?
It's funny because I'm a very positive person, and this whole experience made me see things in such a dark light, and I really don't like that in general about myself or that side of me. And I don't like to mistrust people or a government that's supposed to protect you or at least help you. So I felt very alone in the whole thing, and especially not many people realize that, but it's not just my life, it's my boyfriend's life as well, and his family that just being like crushed and burned in a way. And my friends, I had no idea as soon as I started posting about this on social media, because I want to create this awareness that this is happening now, not just to refugees or people in war zones, but also to people who want to go for a better life within the EU, who maybe are coming from richer kind of countries. And I'm not saying that my problems are like way worse than those people, but it can happen to anyone. And that's what I really wanted to showcase. And that's why I started sharing about this. But it's weird because I was very sad when I came back, and my family was also very crushed back home about it, because I dreamt of living in London since I was 8 years old. My grandma used to live in London in the 70s. Like that place.
What a time to live in London. Oh my gosh, you must have so many cool stories. It's kind of, I always imagined London, because I'm from the UK, but from countryside. So London was always kind of like the Emerald City, kind of in The Wizard of Oz. It's like this glittering sort of bejeweled metropolis where anything's possible.
Well, that was it for me. So I finally did it, and then it was just ripped away from me. But then from this whole experience, I did realize that I don't need a certain place to make the music that I want to make or have the opportunities that I want. I don't need confirmation from a government if I can or cannot do something somewhere. And
if you want to do it, you'll find a way, regardless.
You'll find a way, and also I don't need them to make my dreams come true. I can do that by myself. And even have more flexibility now. And that's what I really realized from being now. So for all the visa people who are listening at the moment, I'm here on a tourist visa. I'm not here illegal. I am on a tourist visa now, and that means I have to go home every 6 months. And at first I was like, oh, how am I going to do that? And now I feel it's actually... And I have more opportunities now, because I can go home and gig and explore the scene over there, and then still be here with my friends and contacts that I already built over the last 2 years. So I think it made me realize actually how much freedom I have.
You have the best of both worlds.
Exactly. And I don't have to shut down one door to open another one. I can just both leave them open, or just knock on them every so often. And
you can build you've essentially built your own. There's that phrase, isn't there, which is where there's an opportunity doesn't not build a door. And that's exactly what you've done. You've built your doors, and you have kept them both open to yourself without limiting yourself, which is really amazing, because a lot of people would have crumbled under that pressure. So power to you.
Credits to definitely my boyfriend, because I was so ready to give up.
What's his name, your boyfriend?
Henry.
Shout out to Henry.
Woo-woo.
Big love to Henry.
He literally one time looked me in the eye when I was crying on the couch and was like, you're not gonna give up, because if you give up, you're gonna let yourself down and you're gonna hate yourself for that. And I was like, okay, I'll do it for you then, because I don't know where to find it anymore. And that really helped me to like get
That's good love. That's good love for sure.
I really needed that bit of tough love, because I was so ready after basically sleepless nights, and then going for one thing, putting all your hopes up in that, and then to be disappointed again, and then all the paperwork and whatever.
It's funny, isn't it? They say like life imitates art, and your upcoming EP is called According to Plan. And it's
that was before this happened, actually.
Exactly. So to think that you've written these songs, which are like from we had a little chat, but about sort of things not quite going, having kind of this grand plan, and you think I've got this all worked out, and you work so hard at something, and then sometimes life or fate or whatever you want to call it just has kind of different ideas, and a lot of these songs see you kind of grappling with finding acceptance and flow in that. So where did the kernels of those songs kind of start bubbling up from?
Ooh, it's funny because it started all with one song, According to Plan, and actually it's a very dreamy love song about struggling with love and then losing your belief in it, and then finding it because of that person, and that was all according to plan. So it was actually from a perspective of losing yourself, losing love, and then refinding it again. And I'm a huge planner. I even went to like an elementary school. No, right? I even went to an elementary school where I learned planning from the age of 4. So I'm a real organized planner. So I always had plans, and like, in this many years I will do this and this and that. And I think the whole visa thing, because I had a whole plan. I was like, okay, I'll stay like 3 years on this visa, and then I'll jump on that one, because then I have enough time to apply for citizenship then, blah, blah. And the whole thing basically taught me that there's no such thing as planning. So now I'm really trying hard for this year at least not to plan like longer, for like a year. And it was funny because I've been really trying to find my sound. And especially I'm coming from such a diverse world. Like my parents listened to like rock music, like I had U2 in the background when I grew up, but also Ella Fitzgerald, and I love country music, and I was a huge fan of Lady Gaga. So it was so much happening musically,
so many influences,
that I've had such a hard time finding what was for me and what suits me. And I think According to Plan was the first song where I was like, I feel free to do whatever I want. And not make music because I think it's supposed to sound like this, or it's supposed to be like this.
I can relate to that so hard. And it's almost like a new level of self-acceptance that you have to get to, because it's like you have all these people that you look up to, and everybody's influenced by everything. So you could take it from the way that you style yourself to your production style to how you produce your vocals. You can be listening to someone like we were saying earlier, like Suki Waterhouse, who you're a big fan of, and she's amazing. I love her too.
Love her.
And the way that she produces her vocals might sound incredible on her voice, but your voice might need something entirely different to really like make it sparkle and bring out all of this richness to it, which you have. And it's kind of about letting go of your kind of adoration of what the other person does, but also just having enough confidence in yourself that the way you do things is good enough, and the way that you do things is its own thing, and you very much having your own lane. So I fully relate to that. It's a huge moment for anybody.
It's just crazy, and it was kind of like, and then I think we started working on Not Yet, and that's where it clicked for me, and I was like,
I know we were just having a truth bomb, but that was kind of...
That was
a bright flash of light. Shall I continue?
Oh my god, that scared me a little bit.
What was that?
That was thunder.
I feel like lightning just hit the building. I feel like we just got hit by lightning. Oh my god.
Are we sure that we're okay? It's not like a fire?
That's what I was thinking. Like, I have had some people bring energy to this session, but that's the first time.
Well, I do tell people I'm a witch, so.
I mean, same.
Right?
We have witches in the building.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay.
Oh my god.
That was a proper flash. Welcome back. I'm Gigi Harland. I'm on Alpha Sessions with Pien. We just had an Alpha Sessions first, as in I think the building that we are in just got struck by lightning. It was the biggest bang I've ever heard.
And so unexpected as well.
Stop broadcast. We've had energy in the studio before, but I think you've brought some new... That was levels.
Well, I do tell people I'm a witch, so I guess...
Yeah, you got two witches in the building, so what do you expect? There we go.
I guess that's it, yeah.
To gracefully segue back into our conversation. Just like you've had enough to go through over the last,
it's
year.
Okay. I'm bulletproof now.
You
I can do it
literally
all.
are. So... According to plan, which is not how this interview's going.
No, but I guess that's a theme.
That is the theme, and it's very electric, very full of energy.
Clearly.
Your first track that you're going to play for us is called Not Yet.
Yes.
And this is the first track from the EP, which is coming out February 21st.
The single will be.
The single is coming out.
The EP will be out in May.
Yeah, amazing, because you're releasing 2 tracks, I believe, before the 2, which we're going to hear today. Amazing. So the first one is Not Yet. Take it away.
Just some peace in my mind, that would be so nice. To give heart a place and love a new home. To find me some comfort and healing for all the things I'm feeling. I'm through. The most pain I've ever been for you. Don't have a clue what state I'm in. I've been up by the boat. I can do it anyway. No. These times are a curse and a blessing for an old soul like me. I wish someone could show me the way to that happy, and then I'm through. What's better than don't have a clue what state I'm in. I've been up by the boat. I can do it anymore. They are asking me when I'm done with grieving over you. But I don't know if I ever will. What if I just need more time to think it all through? Can I just be okay with not feeling good for now? The most pain I've ever been for you. Don't have a clue what state I'm in. I've been up by the boat. I can do it
The Alpha Sessions.
Amazing stuff. That was Pien with Not Yet. Beautiful song, beautiful kind of lilting, purring vocals, and I gotta say I'm loving the production on that track already. Very reminiscent of kind of Maggie Rogers, Casey Musgraves, that kind of slightly psychedelic Americana, slightly indie vibe. Were they people that you listen to?
Oh, absolutely. Like, both of these women are just icons to me. I just love them so much for different reasons, but yeah, they were literally every time when I went in the studio and I had to play my producer reference, it was always one or the other. I think it started very with a Maggie energy, especially with songs like I Know, Done, maybe even a little bit the Dutch song as well, because I'm planning to release from now on. With every album that I release, I will be putting one song on there fully in Dutch as like the last track of the EP. So it's the first time I will be doing that, but I'm definitely planning to do it from now on.
Amazing.
Because I really, actually, I don't really like my language when you're singing it because of all the sounds. It's very like cha and shcha and
Not
very
the
hard on the
smoothest.
vocals. But I love how we play with language because our words are a little bit longer than English ones. But I do feel when you do both in one song, it doesn't really work. So that's why I want just to dedicate one full song to my native language, and then make sure that the production is very rich, so people who don't speak Dutch still understand what it's about and feel what's going on.
Yeah, totally possible with instrumental. Not that it's going to be an instrumental, but like if I listen to someone like Bon Iver, I most of the time can't make out half of the lyrics, but I know how I feel about it all the time. So it's so true. And what's the plan musically for this EP? Like, was there a thread of like production ideas that you really enjoyed, or like a type of sound, or?
Ooh, well, I definitely, so like I said earlier, I've been really digging into like what do I sound, and not everyone I listen to. What is my sound? I always kind of hate it when people are like, oh, my sound is this or my sound is that. But for me, it was really important to find who I am musically, and I actually just went back to my roots because I always listened to country music, and for some reason it's the only style or genre that really grounds me. When I feel overwhelmed or lost, I just listen to country music, and then I know that I'm back, and then I'm okay, and everything will be fine. And then I listen to all sorts of stuff, like to Casey Musgraves, indeed, but also the older, more maybe country Americana rock kind of vibes, like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and I love the band. And of course Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks kind of stuff. Very older kind of influences. I rarely actually listen to modern music.
I think it's something in the storytelling of country, which and those kind of older styles of writing. It does happen in the more modern ones as well, but I think there is just something really grounding because you're hearing like a real story from
and
a
I
real
just
person.
love the whole concept of 3 chords and the truth. I can get so behind that, especially because my guitar skills are fine for writing, but I don't feel comfortable to like play live. So if I just and just knowing that I can literally play 6 chords, that those are enough to write a good song and really show myself.
It'll do the job. If you can play, even if you can play it on a piano, and you can play the melody with like your right hand. Like if you write a really good one, that'll get the job done. It doesn't need to be overly complex. There's the lyric that really spoke to me in this one was I'm gonna find some company for all the things that you're feeling. Does that speak to, on listen it sounds like it's speaking to a theme of kind of maybe loneliness, or is that my interpretation of it?
No, definitely. So basically Not Yet is about like dealing with a lot of relationships and situationships and everything in between, and you're still trying to get over someone, and you're just, you know, you can do it one day again, to love someone and to fully like surrender to someone's love, but just not yet. And I remember, so I wrote this actually back home years ago when I still lived in the Netherlands, and it was just, I felt very low. I had a very bad breakup in the pandemic, which is great to be in a breakup.
Same girl, I was there.
And I'm going to spare the details, but it was a very horrible, rough breakup. And my friend, I was so sad. I've never really been depressed in my life, but that was the first time I was like depressed for like 6 months or so. And my friends were trying to help me, but they basically just said after a month, why aren't you over him yet? And I was just like in shock, because I was almost like, so we can grieve someone who was dead for years, but a breakup, we need to get over that in a month? Why is that like that? And then I felt just very lonely with my feelings, because I was also the first one in my friendship group who went through something so traumatic and intense that I just didn't know what to do. And
it's really confronting when you're kind of grief is such a strange thing. It's like you can have days where you feel like you're turning a corner, and then something that you see or that you hear, and it can be something really like innocuous, like something on TV, and a character will remind you of somebody, or a song will come on, and it will just, it's like in a second you can be straight back to where you started. And it's not really a linear thing from my experience. It's something that kind of it gets a little bit easier as time goes on. And then I suppose the breakups, when you start finding like new life experiences and you meet new people, not necessarily that you're dating, but you just new seeds kind of start to grow, and that sort of helps. And also writing amazing
well, that definitely helps. That was actually the kickoff for me to start writing full songs, because before that I just translated a lot, wrote half songs. But that breakup really like launched the whole songwriting for me. Yeah, in that sense, I couldn't be more grateful.
And it's really beautiful. And the things that you kind of say towards the end about like, can I just allow things to not be okay, like just for now? And it's like it's almost that feeling of like relinquishing the need to like control all the difficult emotions.
Yeah, and also like literally almost telling my friends like, I'm just not okay for now. I will be better, but can you just allow me to be not okay, so I can also say that to myself. Amazing. Well, it's an absolutely beautiful track.
Oh, thank you. And the next track you're going to play for us is called I Know. Can you tell us a little bit about this one?
I Know is about knowing that, so for example, this situation is quite literally, I remember writing it in my room. I used to live in Scotland, and I wrote this in my room before I was going to call a guy from back home to basically tell him that I had feelings for him. And I knew that it wouldn't work, because I was in Scotland, he had like a big job back home, so it wouldn't work. And so I knew that, but it was just a little bit of hope in me that he would say, oh no, I feel the same, and we're going to make it work. But deep down, I knew that was not going to happen.
Your intuition was switched on. So writing the song, did that come before you had that conversation or after? Before. It's funny, it's so strange that it never ceases to amaze me how it works. Like sometimes you feel like you can't write a certain song until you've had that.
Well, this one just happened to me. Most of the time, I tried to sit down and write, but it's really hard for me. It has to come, and then, like for example, I'm cooking and I feel the urge, and I'll just put everything down and write, so it's out of my system. And that's what happened with that one, because I wasn't sure if I should, because I knew that it wouldn't work. And then I was like texting a really good friend of mine about it, and she was like, no, you have to tell him just for your own sake, to release those feelings and that energy.
You're like, you'll never know then.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's gonna kill you in the end. So she convinced me to do it, and then before I would text him to tell him that, or at least when, hey, can we phone or whatever, I wrote this song. And it was just such a pure feeling. And I wrote it in like 20 minutes. And I wasn't sure at first if I should do something with it. And then I worked with this amazing producer up in Newcastle. Her name is Hetty. And I wasn't sure at first, because I was like, oh, but I don't know about the lyrics, if they're like not deep enough, or they aren't really that specific, but they are to me, and blah blah. And then we came up with this whole almost larger than life, like middle age, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool, and this is almost giving it a whole new world and a whole new energy, and that really convinced me to get the song on the EP.
Fantastic. Well, play it for us. This is I Know by Pien.
I panicked, freaked out. Why did I say that out loud? Why am I so foolish? Why am I feeling so stupid? I know that's part of me, and I know that you need that to see, but I'm afraid I scared you away. Well, I miss you and need you the most. I know it's now, and I know that this is the end. I hope you know me better than this. I know it's not, and I know that this is the end, and I hope you know me better than this. To save my heart from the ache of another tear. Here we are again. Misery is hunting me. Why am I so scared? He's just a man. He's just a man. I know it's no, and I know that this is the end, and I hope you know me better than this. I know it's not, and I know that this is the end, and I hope you know me better than Do you know me better than this? I know it's not, and I know that this is the end. I hope you know me better than this.
The Alpha Sessions.
Woo! Welcome back, guys. That was I Know by Pien, and that song will be released April the 4th.
Yeah.
So it's the second track from your EP, According to Plan. All about redirection, kind of being protection. Is kind of that was kind of the takeaway that I kind of found from those. Do you what do you think about the idea of fate, or the idea of there being like a grand plan?
Well, it's funny you're saying that because I'm not really a spiritual person or anything. I'm not religious or anything, but I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And even when bad things happen, for example, my whole visa situation, I know that happened for a reason. I already can grasp a little bit what that reason was, which is actually quite rare for me because I need normally a few years to realize what that was for. But yeah, I do believe that everything kind of happens according to a plan. And then that's why I was so fascinated with the title, because even though I had all those things that went wrong in my life, like relationships and visa stuff and other whatever, it's still, in the end, all will be all right. And maybe that's the plan. And maybe there isn't a plan, and that's the plan.
It's meta.
It is, and that's what I like about it, because I can just think about it like all day.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to do as well, to think about that when they hear the title of the EP or of the track.
Yeah.
To really almost go down that rabbit hole of like, but what is then according to plan?
I think it does a great job of that. It's like maybe it's a grand plan, it's just not necessarily your plan. It's like I always kind of think there is a bigger intelligence than us, and it's interesting that you say, you know, you often need a few years to figure out what that is. That like, things need time to play out, much like you need time to properly grieve a breakup. You know, everything in its own time. Some things, fine, they might be really instant. You might have like a bolt of inspiration or a breakthrough, but other times you just need that little bit of time to metabolize it and create a beautiful body of work out of it as well, if I may say so. Are you having a launch party for this EP? Tell us about that.
Oh, you have no idea how excited I am for this EP, because I feel like I'm finally really showing all my colours and myself, and I don't know, it's almost like I don't want to play the old stuff anymore. Not that I don't like my old stuff, but it's just the excitement of something new and something I worked on for 2 years is finally like coming together. So we're gonna do 2 special things to celebrate this EP. One of them will be in the Netherlands, but I'm gonna keep that a little bit secret.
Hush, hush.
Because I already spilled too many like tea, but that's
We've
alright.
had enough world exclusives today.
Yeah. But I will be playing a live show with my band, and that will be on the 23rd of May, which will also be the release day of the EP. And we're going to play a kick-ass show at the Waiting Room, and I'm really excited for that because I've never played that venue before, and I heard amazing stories about it. And support will be announced later. We're going to do something special for that as well.
Yeah.
But I'm just
keep your eyes on Pien's social media if you're looking forward to the show in general and looking forward to the whole support act.
Just everything. Definitely keep an eye on my Instagram for the next, from basically now till the EP comes out, because we're gonna show you so much. We've been working on like really cool pictures and creating this whole world that the EP lives in, and I really can't wait to like share that with everyone.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear everything too. I really love those 2 tracks. Love the production, love the songwriting, so I can't wait to see what else you've been cooking up. But thank you so much for coming in and having a chat with us. Are you on all social media for people if they want to find you? TikTok, Instagram?
So on Instagram and TikTok it's Pien, that's Pien music 3, because 3 is my lucky number. And then on Spotify it's just Pien, Pien, and the same with YouTube. And that's it, yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
The Alpha Sessions.